welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. My name is Devin. I hope that you will consider sticking around and subscribing. And if you're not new, as always, welcome back. You know I love you. So for today's video, we're going to be doing another full face of makeup, and I wanted to pull out this palette again and give it a second try. So this is the Sigma Cor De Rosa palette. You can see I tried to find the most appropriate shirt for the occasion to go with this palette. So, you know, floral pink is the theme today. But this palette is beautiful. I did do one video on this palette already, just kind of doing first impressions. I used some of the lip products in this collection as well. And I did a look that was very neutral, so I wanted to take another crack at this palette and this time play around with some of the more pink tones in this palette. So that's the inspo for this video. And then for complexion and stuff, I want to focus on doing like a really glowy, kind of like dewy summer look. A lot of my recent videos, the looks have been pretty dramatic and some of them actually pretty colorful and not necessarily like the most wearable looks. They've been a little bit more just like fun and creative and playing with different palettes. But I have had a lot of friends and family recently ask me like, hey, can you maybe do something that's a little bit more everyday, or like I just want to learn how to do good summer makeup or good everyday makeup. And I totally get that. I feel like as a makeup lover, I love to do big, bold, dramatic looks and express my creativity and try different things. But there are people that watch my channel and people in my life that want to learn how to do more natural, like everyday makeup looks. So I totally get that. So we're gonna go for a pinky, glowy, leaning on the natural side makeup look today. So if that's something that you're interested, come along on the ride with me and let's get right into the video. Okay, so we're gonna start with eyes as always. Well, maybe not as always, but most of the time I start with eyes because I like to make a mess with my eyes. So I'm gonna prime it with my e.l.f. Putty Eye Primer. This is in the shade Rose. I've been using this a lot. Alright, so to start off the eyeshadow, I'm going to go into Hybrid, which is this beautiful little corally shade. I'm going to use a light hand and I'm going to start working that into the crease. Okay, so I tried to keep the blend nice and light, and I tried also to just keep that color right in my crease, like immediate kind of like half moon here in my crease and not take it out too far. So next, I'm gonna take that same brush and dip into Veranda, and I'm gonna use that to just keep blending this line up here. It doesn't look too harsh, but I think this is just gonna help make the blend look really, really seamless. Okay, so I found this picture on Pinterest and I'm looking at this for the inspo for this look because I think it's so beautiful. I think it's that perfect balance of like soft but also super pretty and glamorous. So I kind of like how she's got the, I like how she's got like the lighter color in the center here, almost like a halo eye, and then also some brightness on the inner corner. So this is gonna be the inspo for the look going forward. So next I'm going to go into this shade right here. This is called Damask, D-A-M-A-S-K. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right, but here we go. And I'm taking that just on a little, it's still, I would still consider this a blending brush, but it's slightly more tapered. Wow, that looks really bright pink. All right, we'll see how this goes. I'm going to use a light hand. I might switch to a different color, but I'm just going to pack this into the outer corner. Wow, yeah, that's very pink. I'm not sure if I want it to be this pink. So I'm gonna try to blend that out a little bit, and then I think I am gonna switch to a different color. So I'm just gonna kind of like zhuzh that brush on a paper towel, get some of that color off, and then I'm actually going to move one over to this color Shakespeare. And again, I'm gonna use a light hand because this color's a little bit dark, but I want something that's like a little bit less of a bright pink. So I'm starting with that in the outer corner and then working it up into the crease as well. And I'm actually gonna bring it all the way around to my inner corner as well. And I'm just gonna lightly start packing that on that inner third of my eyelid as well. So like I said, I'm just trying to work like carefully and slowly here so that I don't do too much. I do really want to focus on keeping this nice and soft. Okay, next I am gonna take this shade. It's called High Society on my finger. And I'm gonna place that in the center of my lid. And I like to just like raise my eyebrows up a little bit so I can kind of get that right up to the crease. And as I'm working with this here, I'll take like a clean finger and kind of blend the edges. So I just wiped off the finger that I was just using. So I'm gonna go into Belle of the Ball down here now. And I'm just gonna go right over top of that. I'm gonna focus that right in the center. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. So I laid down that first color just to give a little bit more dimension underneath of it, but this is my favorite color in this entire palette. It's so beautiful. Okay, and I do feel like I got a little bit excited with that Belle of the Ball shade, so I'm gonna go back into High Society really quickly, just on my finger again, and I'm gonna tap that along the edges. And then now that I've laid down those shimmer colors, I am going to take an Anastasia brush and go back into Shakespeare and just build up the inner and outer corner a little bit more with that color. And then I think one more time, I'm gonna take a clean brush this time and go into Veranda and just make sure we're nice and blended. I'm being a little bit OCD here, but. All right, I always like to do my inner corner and brow bone highlight after I do my face makeup, just so that I don't end up like kind of wiping it off or smudging it as I'm doing my brows or my concealer or anything like that. So I'm gonna leave the eyes where they are for a second. I am going to grab a makeup wipe and we are going to clean up under the eyes. Moving on to skin, I am first going to prime with the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. I really like this. I got a mini to test it out and I really like it. I actually asked for it for my birthday and my best friend got it for me, but I had tried the e.l.f. this watermelon primer, which I also love, and I had heard that that watermelon primer was a dupe for this milk one. So since I really like the watermelon one, I was like, let me just try the milk one and see if it's like any better, if they really are dupes or whatever. They're both pretty sticky. Like I don't notice a huge difference between the two, and I actually really like the way that the e.l.f. one smells, but I like them both. I guess it just depends, like if you want something more high-end or if you want something more affordable. I think both are really good options. For foundation today, I'm gonna be using this guy right here. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow Foundation. This is in the shade 208 Sun Beige. For concealer, I'm gonna use this combo again. I did just use these in my last video as well, but I just picked these guys up, so I wanna really, you know, give them a try. So this is the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Concealer, and this is in the shade Medium 85 Neutral. And then this is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer in the shade Medium Sand. This one, honestly, pretty much matches my tan. It's not too much lighter, like it's still a little bit dark for a concealer for me. Actually, with this foundation, it's pretty light. But what I did in my last video was I kind of put this down as a base and then I mixed in a little bit of that ColourPop one over top because the ColourPop one is a little bit lighter. So this lighter ColourPop one, I'm just gonna put up under my eyes where I tend to have a little bit more discoloration. And I actually think I do want to take a little bit of that Pretty Fresh concealer on my forehead as well, just for a little bit of lightness right there in the center. For powder today, I'm going to use the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder. I got this a couple months ago, and honestly, I think I've only used it once or twice. Like, I ordered it right when it first came out, and I honestly kind of forgot I had it. So I'm just going to get a little bit, actually, because I've been sitting here for a minute, I'm going to make sure that all my creases are blended. Then I'm gonna get that powder on my sponge as I normally do. Anyway, so I ordered this powder and I guess I kind of forgot I had it and didn't reach for it. I was using my like Wet n Wild a lot, my Juvia's Place and that kind of thing. But I just dug it out. I'm trying to use up a lot more of I'm just trying to use up a lot of the makeup that I have. Anyway, a few of the YouTubers that I watch have said good things about this powder. Like I know Juicy Jazz likes it. I think Kelly Strack likes it as well. So I figured we could try it again. So I'm gonna let that sit under the eyes and then I'm gonna I'm gonna make a mess of powder everywhere. I'm gonna take a fluffy powder brush and set the rest of my face. Okay, next I'm gonna break this baby out for the first time. So this is the Alamar Cosmetics Brighten and Bronze Complexion Trio infused with hyaluronic acid. Nice. And this is the medium palette. So they have a light, medium, and a deep. So what I'm gonna do first is come into this banana shade here. It's called I'm Woke and it's a brightener. So it's not a highlight shade, it's a matte powder. It literally looks like it's like a nice beautiful banana powder for the under eyes. And I always like to use a banana powder or a more yellow toned powder to dust off the powder that I use to set if I'm not using like a loose banana powder to set underneath my eyes, just because I feel like it helps combat any kind of white cast that you might get from the translucent powder. Because I just feel like even though translucent powders are supposed to be translucent, if they're really bright white like that, I still tend to try to tone down the white cast. So that's a little tip if you've never heard me say that before. If you feel like you've set your under eyes and they look a little too white or too like gray or powdery, use a yellow toned powder and it'll help kind of combat that. All right, next I'm gonna move over one. This one is called Solterra and it is a bronzer. And then right here we do have this one, it's called Always Summer and it's called a deepener. So I'm gonna go for the bronzer to start. I'm taking it on a nice fluffy brush. This is from my BH Cosmetics Rose Quartz collection. I love it. I just love that it's more tapered. I feel like it really helps me hug my cheekbones and my temples when I'm applying bronzer. Oh, that's nice, it's pretty. It's not terribly intense, but it blends out really, really nicely. And let's go ahead and get the temples. Yeah, this is pretty. Okay, for contour today, I'm gonna take my Roxy Contour and Highlight palette. It is trusty and a little crusty at this point because I've used this so much. So I'm gonna take this shade right here, which is my go-to contour shade. Honestly, no matter if I'm tan or not, I love this contour shade. So I'm just gonna sculpt out my cheekbones with that. Next, I am going to take this guy right here. This is the Desi Katie Dose of Colors Chasing the Sun highlighter. It was recently on sale and they didn't have the other one, so I grabbed this one and I also grabbed the Friendcation palette. And this is a little bit too dark for me, but I actually think it was the Kathleen Lights video where she was reviewing this collection, where she said if you were fair like her, and my natural skin tone is very close to hers, you could use this as a bronzer topper. And I was like, that's a fantastic idea, because I felt like I bought this and I was like, I'm not gonna be able to use this unless I'm like tan. So I'm going to use this as a bronzer topper. So I'm just gonna take the same brush that I was just using. I'm gonna run it right over top of where I just put my bronzer. And then when you use this technique and you put highlighter over top, if you're somebody, like if you're a glow girl like me, you are gonna glow. And it's subtle too. I also like this a lot like on my forehead, because I don't typically put highlighter on my forehead, so I feel like this is a really good way to still get a little bit of glow up there as well. I don't know, I'm really a fan of this technique, and this highlighter in particular is my favorite thing to use for this, because you can just tell it's really high quality. It's really smooth and it just glides on the skin, you know? You can't beat that. And then we're gonna go ahead and put highlighter on top and it's gonna be delicious. So, speaking of highlighter, I'm excited for this. I'm always excited, okay? I'm always excited. It's just my natural state of being, and especially when we're talking about makeup. So, I'm just saying, I'm really excited for this. So this is the Nicole Guerrero and Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit. I have always been a pretty big fan of the Glow kits. Sometimes, I know some people think they're lackluster and some people don't. I've always liked it, but this one got a lot of hype, so they recently brought it back. I'm sure you're all aware of this at this point if you're like even remotely in the makeup community. And I like literally haven't even touched it. I haven't swatched this, like nothing. So I'm so excited. All right, I'm gonna go for Glow Getter because just at a first glance, that looks like it's gonna be my go-to shade in this palette. Yeah, that's really pretty. That's gorgeous. A little glittery. If you're somebody, now I don't mind that, but if you're somebody that doesn't love a glittery highlight, be aware. All of these honestly look like they're pretty glittery just from a first glance in the pan, but I can see it on my face. Like there's definitely some tiny little glitters in here, so be warned if you haven't tried this. All right, then we're gonna take some setting spray. This is my favorite e.l.f. Dewy Setting Mist. I'm gonna shake it up a little bit. Woo! That does shoot out a little bit, doesn't it? For brows today, I think I'm gonna do them off camera because I just feel like brows are boring and I obsess over them and I take forever doing them, so I'd rather not have you guys, I'd rather just not put you through that. But I do still wanna tell you guys what I'm using for my brows. So I have recently brought back an old favorite combination that has come back into my life. So this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow in the shade Dark Brown, and then this is the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter Gel. And then I also do apply the dip brow with this Anastasia Beverly Hills brow brush. I think it's the A7 or the A8. I've had it for a long time and it's done me well, so all of the writing has rubbed off of it, but it's their precise brow brush. So I am going to hop off of camera, do my brows, and I'll be right back. All right, brows are on, and I just realized I got so excited about like my highlighter and everything that I didn't even do blush yet. So I am going to do my blush. So this is the Roxy Blush Burst palette. I just used this for the first time in my last video. And let's see, I think I'm gonna go for maybe this one today. And I'm gonna be careful because when I used this the last time, it was very pigmented. So we're going to proceed with caution here. Okay, so now we're gonna move back to the eyes. So I'm actually thinking for the lower lash line, I wanna use this color Hybrid, just because I don't want it to get too dark. So I'm gonna start out with this color and see if I like it and wanna leave it, or if I wanna go in with a little bit of that shade Shakespeare, but we'll see. So I'm just gonna work that along my lower lash line. All right, so I actually think that looks really pretty on the lower lash line, but I'm just curious, so I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna take a little bit of Cor De Rosa on that same brush and see if I can just almost neutralize that color a little bit. If you like it nice and bright, then you don't have to do this step if you're following along with this palette, but I'm just curious to see if this will do anything or not. Looks a little different, doesn't look terribly different, but whatever. We're just playing around. Doesn't have to be that serious, does it? All right, and then to finish off with my highlight shade, I'm gonna go back into Belle of the Ball just on a flat shader brush, and I'm gonna use this to highlight my inner corner and my brow bone. For lashes today, I'm gonna pop on some Benefit Bad Gal Bang mascara, and then I'm going to apply some Ardell Wispies. Okay, I just finished putting my lashes on and I just realized that I was not recording that part, but that's okay because honestly, I am definitely one of those people that does like all these kinds of like acrobatics with my arm to try to get my lashes right, and I just sat here fighting with my right lash for like a good 5 minutes. Okay, so what do we have left? Lips. Let's see. So I obviously think that a, pinkier nude lip is going to go best with this look. So I'm gonna use NYX Nude Pink for my lip liner, nothing new here. And to finish off this look, I'm gonna use this lip gloss right here. This is the Sigma Secret Garden lip gloss that came with this Cor De Rosa collection, and I think it'll be perfect. Alright you guys, so here we are at the end of the video again, and I'm obsessed. I absolutely love, love, love this look. There's just something so just beautiful about something that's soft and glamorous, but not too much. I just, like, I love it. I love the glow, I love the bronziness, and I love a deep, dark, smoky eye, but I am just like a pretty pink princess at heart. I've just always been that way ever since literally I was born. So whenever I get to kind of let that part of my personality show and come out, especially like in what I'm wearing or in my makeup or whatever, I love it. So I'm really happy with the way that this look turned out. I hope it was fun for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this look as well. If you have this palette, I hope it gave you maybe another idea, something to do with the palette as we're going into summer. I really feel honestly like this is going to be my palette of the summer. Normally it's soft glam, but I can just see myself using this all summer long. So I'm excited about this. So that being said, I think that is going to be it for this video. If you have not already subscribed to my channel and you've made it this far, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. Give me a like, leave me a comment. All of that stuff really helps me out. It helps me grow, and I would really appreciate it. You can also follow me on Instagram. I am at devdevgregs over there as well. I'm also at devdevgregs on TikTok. I'm not super active. I don't really know what I'm doing over there yet, but I eventually would like to post more over there as well, so you can find me on TikTok as well. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, I think with that, I will catch you in my next video. Mwah. Love you. Bye.